Art of War is written by Sun Tzu, and it is an ancient Chinese military commentary come from the late spring and autumn period around 5th century BC. Sun Tzu was a Chinese general, philosopher, and a military tactician. His book, The Art of War, is the most powerful strategy text in all East Asia. It is divided into 13 chapters, each dedicated into different sectors of the battle. Laying plans. The art of war took a vital place in a war itself, whether you win it or ruin it. There are 5 constant factors you need to consider when entering the field: the rules, times, chances, leaderships, and administrations. And 7 comparisons when you consider doing the work. Hence, in a war, you need a complete calculation, assessing and comparing of all aspects before you get in, unless you will get defeated. For instance, in 2005, Yahoo was one of the main players in the online advertising market. But because Yahoo undervalued the importance of search, the company decided to focus more on becoming a media giant. The decision to focus more on the media means they neglect the consumer trend and a need to improve a user experience. Yahoo managed to gain a massive number of viewers to view the content, but failed to make enough profit in order to scale. Waging war. In this chapter, he explained how to win a battle as quickly as possible by also limiting the cost of the war and hinder the conflict within them. Other than that, this chapter talks about how we use the enemy resources rather than destroying them. It includes the opponent's soldier in the hope they can give us the valuable information. We took Friendster and Facebook as an example. They were competing together because they have the same concept of social media. But Friendster didn't innovate the platform, while the Facebook continually and quickly innovate by adding some game features and apps. Friendster fell, and some of the Friendster workers were hired by Facebook. Attack by stratagem. We already know that in starting a war, there must be a calculating and planning. If the concentration have a negative answer to starting a war, then do not do it. In this chapter, we learn how to destroy cities in terms of politics and not cities and their inhabitants. Unity in alliance is very important to be able to deal with surprises that came from the opponent. With a capable generals, we can win hundreds of battles. In a workplace, we need collaborations to have strengths and unity. A good example of the successful collaborations come from the multinational company. Its cosmetic range was lacking a lip moisturizer. By enabling the collaboration between different business units, its food division mixing oil and water hardened up one of its spreadable products to make a much needed lip sleeve. Tactical disposition. We must know where we stand. Our standing position determines the opponent we will defeat. If we attack without knowing where we stand, then we will not be able to control it. We must defend, not attack. That way, we can take the opportunity to change something from our own environment. Let's pick Singapore as one of the examples. Why Singapore is one of the richest countries out there? First, we need to know that the position of Singapore is in between Europe and Asia. This implies the impact of economy of Europe and Asia will emerge here. That is also the reason why Singapore has the largest logistic industry in the world. It helps to ship goods and stuff between those two continents. Energy. The action taken will determine the result. Do not just stay quiet. If we do not act, the team will not move. There are 2 directions, forward and pull. If you know your team will fail, if they are moving forward, pull them out. Sun Tzu likened the order with a river or stream. We must have a vision of the future about what action should be taken, whether it is a direct or indirect orders. We must give directions. You can pick the example of pull direction. It is true, one of the company's name, Adidas. Rather than trying to reach out the consumer to buy the product, they created enough value for their products and brand. The customer come to buy their product themselves because they know it is valuable enough to buy. Weak point and strong. This chapter proposed many models of discussion and reasoning, each of which include points of opposing factor. Sun Tzu discussed how to carry out weak and good power to fight. The Commander General must know about himself and he must know his enemy. Also, it is not enough to just compile information. It must also be powerful. This will allow Commander, as Sun Tzu has said, agreed to by his troop, to appear in places where enemy must be accelerated, move quickly to places he does not expect you from. The company brand name Lush can give us more insight. Lush is different from any other cosmetic brand in the market. This cosmetic creator has a global reach with a domestic warm and fuzzy approach that is not reluctant to push their boundaries. So, what set Lush aside from Sephora and Etsy? Handmade products! Moral purchase and the freshness that came from the handmade products. Company's biggest success is knowing that it scores customer value and social corporate obligations over luxurious and out-of-reach image. Maneuvering. This chapter defines the danger of confronting conflict. Conflicting with others' resources is tempting if you do not value the true nature of opportunity and creativity. However, even if it must be silent, there are times where it is not silent. In the discussion, you should consider that you can balance your rewards in your confrontations. Calculation is a consideration that you take action to move forward or be quiet. We could take it from the Keith Bronson's model, the CEO of the Profit Builders. On the off chance that office snake takes steps to tear down the moral, at that point, supervisors have two options. Face a conflict like a rhinoceros or like an ostrich. Bronson composes for the Salesforce blog that the supervisor and the salesman constantly experience fight-or-flight syndrome when confronted with a conflict or a challenging circumstances. Most people approach this discussion like a charging rhinoceros, or on the other hand, stick your head in the sand and stay away from them, trusting this issue will mysteriously vanish. Bronson enables individuals to recognize where they remain on an evolved way of life so they can draw nearer to the working calmly in the workplace condition. Variation in tactics. We must be able to answer every problem we face. This chapter introduces the next 3 chapters. You will find specific responses to a certain condition. In the chapter, the idea we can see is each situation is unique, but it is also combined with the element that we already know. How we know to be creative and flexible, and at the same time, we must also work according to the rule and not be reactive. For example, Google sets the tone for some new companies. The huge support a learning society. The more the organization develops, the more it needs to rethink its way of life. The organizations give free meals, plan out group outings, offer monetary incentive. The open door for the staff to go to the meeting drove by the significant CEOs, gym classes, or even permits dogs in the working area. In conclusion, Google offers a decent harmony between work life and individual life so as to restrict pressures, while it organizes the workspace in the most wonderful manner feasible for its representatives. Notwithstanding, we should not overlook that some venture strategies or activity anticipated the most extreme execute from the worker, and along this line anticipate the greatest outcome. The Army of March. This chapter explains the various situations in which you find yourself in a new battle arena. This is the first of the 3 most detailed chapters. This explains what situation means and how you should respond to it. Most focus on evaluating the intention of others. As an occurrence, Google or the web search tool of your decision is the prime beginning stage. Here you can compete a few things to uncover the contenders, or using algorithms none of us will ever generally comprehend. Terrains. A good general makes decisions without seeking recognition or fearing criticism. A general cannot be fearless if any factors of the battle is ensured. If the area is unclear, victory is not certain. If he does not know his soldier, victory is not certain. He is confident with his movements, as any doubts can grow doubts in the team.
Being fearless is his path.
Bruce Pontiff, the founder of G Adventures, understands that he would possibly be happy in the event he walked from himself when he got terminated from his position at McDonald's as a youngster, which was the best thing at any point happened to him. Thus, in 1990, he would begin to start an adventure travel company, G Adventure, by maxing out 2 credit cards. For his situations, the risks pay off. He presently runs a visit on 7 continents for more than 100,000 explorers every year. The 9 situations. This chapter defines 9 general situations in competitive arenas. Also, the acceptance and the response need in each situation. This is the last and longest chapter of the detailed chapter. These 9 situations can generally be grouped into initial, middle, and a final stage, and they range from scattery to lethal. In each of these situations, there is only one and only one appropriate response. We would all like to think we respond well under pressure, that we rise the occasion, that we handle the criticism like a professional we are, that we can respond appropriately when the company hits the fan. Unfortunately, that is not always the case for brands and the humans who run them. That is why a crisis management strategy is so crucial. Crisis management are anything but easy to track down nowadays. We have seen Uber lose 200,000 clients in the wake of Delete Uber, and United lose 800 million in esteem in only a couple of hours. That sort of response to mark emergency is exceptional, and it is likewise say something regarding each brand emergency bot methodologies. The attack by fire. This chapter defines the 5 methods of attacking with fire. These methods depend on weather conditions. The book states that all sorts of equipment for this kind of attack should be carefully planned out and arranged well ahead of time so that adjustment can be made to accommodate the various conditions. If the fire makes the enemy into confusion, an attack is encouraged. However, if the enemy remains calm, the wisest plan is to wait. For example, in the working environment, only a few organizations has boundless resources for its leadership succession possession. However, every organization should, in any case, decide how to develop their talent pool and recognize and hold future organizational leaders. Deferring progression arrangements prevents a crucial arrangement among the ability and the business procedures. Legitimate arranging will come full circle in self-recharging progression culture that guarantees skilled and persuaded leaders are persistently arranged inside, preventing badly educated, receptive, and costly recruiting choices. The use of spies. In this last chapter, he emphasizes using men who knows the enemy and sort them into 5 types. Sun Tzu said that these intelligent gatherers should be treated and paid high, as this wisdom is key to winning the battle, especially an impressive one. Every move that a general makes is based on this intelligence. Learn from Satya Nadella. In 2015, interview with a Wall Street Journal, Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, said he looks for 2 things in new recruits. Satya asked if they have created clearness and created energy. He also says that if the individuals who are fit for getting into circumstances where there is some sense of alarm and who welcome first clarity on what to do straight away are significant. In conclusion, we can choose many strategies to win, especially in our workplace. How we run the business or face the competitor are also related to it. But we need to have a good tactic, intelligence, calculation, preparations to start the battle. If it is not, most likely we will be defeated easily. So this book gives me a tons of insight into how to compete, especially in the business area. In only 60 pages, you will fall deep into author strategies and advice. Best choice for you who will start or in the middle of doing business or work with the company. It opens your perspective about competing in the right time and the right manner. Worth to read.